Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, make sure to subscribe because the best can pay for themselves. Help us this out. Wow, this feels like deja vu because I just filmed a video like 3 minutes ago. Welcome to my second video of the day, and possibly there could be a third video of the day. This is scary. Something amazing happened, which I am so excited. Oh my gosh, if it does happen, whoa. Anyways, today is an album review, and today we're doing an album review on Miley Cyrus's new project. She is Miley Cyrus Part 1. She is coming. And girl, these are the thoughts for the Miley review. Like, the top was like the Witness with the Witness and Never Really Over reviews. These are the Miley reviews and like the notes I took down when I was listening to it. Girl, there's a lot we gotta get through, so let's get started. So, first things first, this is Miley's first project since her past album Younger Now, which it's so sad to say this, like it really is so sad to say this, which everybody seems to forget she did because everyone is acting like she's been away for such a long time. It's literally only been a year and a half since she released Younger Now, and people try to like sweep it under the rug as if it never happened. I'm gonna start off by saying this. It's like at the bottom of my notes, but I'm gonna start off by saying this. I think I will forever have a soft spot for Younger Now. I really will, because I feel like I was one of the really few people who actually enjoyed that album, because I enjoy those type of albums sometimes. I enjoy those albums that are like stripped down and laid back, and they're pretty much a back to roots album, because definitely, you know, it suits her well. Obviously it suits her well because country music runs through her blood, through her roots. It runs through every part of her, because obviously she was, you know, born and raised by a country star. So obviously, you know, country music will run through her blood, and it sounds amazing when she does it. I actually will always love that Younger Now album. However, this is the new era. This is the She is Miley Cyrus era, Part 1, She is Coming. The first thing I have to say about this body of work of 3, the first of 3, is that it definitely is very cohesive. It's cohesive, it's aware, it's conscious, and it's tasteful. And I use those words very, very strongly. If you know me, which some of you didn't know me at the time, but if you know me, I wasn't a huge fan of the Bangers era, and I was not a huge fan of the Miley and Her Dead Pets era. I just, at the time, you know, obviously I was in a much more different headspace at the time. I liked a lot more different things at the time than I do now. But even revisiting those eras now, they're not my cup of tea, and I didn't really like them. I tried to be there for the Bangers era, but it was just so outlandish, and it was crazy, and it was raunchy. And then the Dead Pets era was just so like, oh my gosh, she's really taking the Grace Jones route here. It was just, the Dead Pets era reminded me of Grace Jones. So did the Bangers era. Those two eras reminded me of Grace Jones so much, and the antics she would do, and the craziness and the androgyny and the outrageous outfits and the outrageous things Grace Jones would do. That's what Miley reminded me of during those eras, just that it was so much more X-rated and so much more raunchier than Grace Jones was. But this, obviously people are comparing this body of work to her Bangers era and to her Dead Pets era, and to that I say, I see where people are coming from, but I also don't think it's justifiable to say it's like her Bangers era or it's like her Dead Pets era, because it is, like I said, a lot more aware, conscious, and tasteful. I found elements of the Bangers era and the Dead Pets era a bit distasteful. I found a few elements of those eras, you know, back then, and looking back at them now, because I re-listened to those two albums prior to listening to She Is Coming. Some of the aspects of those two eras were really distasteful and weren't really, they didn't come across to me as art. They came across to me as borderline pornography. That's how insane those two eras were for her. But at the same time, I try to see both sides of the spectrum. I get why she did those things. I get that, you know, obviously Hannah Montana was a huge aspect of her life. And even, you know, if she tried to stray away from it as much as possible back then, I think she's acknowledged now, you know, as she's a lot more older, that, you know, Hannah Montana will forever be a huge part of her life for so many of her fans, if not 99% of her fans, because 99% of her fans have been with her since the Hannah Montana era, myself included. She's literally like the first person I ever, she's literally the first album I ever bought. Like, the Hannah Montana soundtrack was the first album I ever purchased. But I get why she did those things now, to, you know, try to build a name for herself, to not just be Miley Cyrus, aka Hannah Montana, to be Miley Cyrus, the singer-songwriter, the actress, and the producer. I think she produces her music as well. It's a 3-part album, so she did state that. So this is the first of 3. This is She Is Coming. Next will come She Is Here, and next will be She Is Everything, all to accumulate a full album titled She Is Miley Cyrus, or I guess a project She Is Miley Cyrus. And, you know, this part of the 3 parts, because obviously I haven't listened to the other 2 parts, but this part so far, it's bold, it's aggressive, and it's loving. There definitely is those moments where it's like really bold and very aggressive. I think one of the boldest songs she has in this album is Drugs Rule Everything Around Me. And I think that really is a bold song, and obviously the aggressive song is Catitude and Mother's Daughter, but they're bold and aggressive with a really, you know, true to classic Miley meaning. Like, these songs don't feel like Miley straying away from her own identity. These songs don't feel like Miley trying to be, you know, something that she's not. These, you know, stay true to classic Miley, all while exploring different vibes of artistry. I think, you know, even if it's just 6 songs, she definitely showcased how much of a versatile artist she is, because, you know, she went from, you know, a hard song like, you know, Mother's Daughter, to something as soft like The Most, to something a little more mellow but deep and meaningful like Drugs Rule Everything Around Me. And I think she definitely explored quite a few avenues of her artistry through such a little amount of songs. And I give her a lot of respect for that. I give her a lot of respect for, you know, the versatility she has as an artist. I think my predictions for She Is Here and She Is Everything, I think She Is Here might be a little more, possibly, just saying, I think She Is Here could possibly be even more aggressive, because obviously She Is Coming is already like a bold statement to make, like, she's coming, but She Is Here is an even bolder statement to make. So I feel like She Is Here might be the even more aggressive side of Miley's artistry. I feel like it could be even more aggressive. I think it'll be even a little more grungier. I think it'll really take it there, and it's gonna make people uncomfortable. And then She Is Everything, I think, since it's, I guess, the accumulative part of the whole project, I think She Is Everything is gonna be a little more softer and a little more sweeter, and I think it'll definitely be slightly a little more reminiscent to the Younger Now era. I think it'll definitely show her loving and sweet side when it comes to artistry, when it comes to music, when it comes to the sound of the music, the lyrics of the music. I think She Is Everything is definitely going to be that much more sweeter side. Or I could be wrong, and it could be the other way around. One critique for this whole album is that these songs are great, and I think she definitely explores different avenues of her artistry. The one thing that really catches me off guard is the fact that there are so many songwriters credited in only a 6-song project. Like, I didn't realize until I looked all the way down at the credits. I think it's in Drugs Rule Everything Around Me, there's about 11 or 12 songwriters credited. Dream and in Party Up the Streets, there is about 11 to 13 songwriters credited, which caught me off guard, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, I actually was a bit shocked to realize that many songwriters credited for 2 songs, like 12 and 13 in each song, because, you know, Miley's a smart girl. Like, she can write her own music on her own, she can compose it. I think I think she produces her music as well, I'm not sure, but, you know, I was a bit shocked that she had so much help for, you know, 2 songs. Like, it just caught me as a culture shock, if I'm honest. But aside from that, you know, put the songwriters to the side. The work itself, I think it's one of Miley's best work in such a long time. Dare I say, it's probably her best work since her Can't Be Tamed era. But looking back at it now, between Bangers and Her Dead Pets, it's one of her most mature works that she's done in such a long time. And I think this is up there with Can't Be Tamed as some of her best works. The standout songs to me are Mother's Daughter and The Most, because they're pretty much polar opposites. Like the first song and the last song on this record, they're pretty much polar opposites. Mother's Daughter is such an aggressive song, it's such a bold and, you know, out there song, and then The Most is a much more sweeter and softer and loving part of her, and I liked that she did that for this part of the whole project. And I give this project, well, this part 1 of 3-part project, an overall rating of 8 out of 10. And with that said, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts on She Is Coming, your predictions for She Is Here and everything. Are you here for this era? Are you not here for this era? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as well subscribe if you're new, because the bills that get paid for themselves help us out, and I will see you tomorrow.